500. This here is our
M23. So this is an Emerson Championship winning chassis. And if you had to ask me what is my favourite car here, it's this. The history of the M23 spans multiple seasons, kind of unheard of in current Formula One. You could have a chassis that was so successful. Again, Cosworth engine, and again, aerodynamic evolution was just making further steps. But the provenance of this car with Emerson's win is why we brought it here. Has been driven by multiple drivers through this weekend. Again, fantastic car to see on track.
our next world champion. A very famous one. Emerson Fittipaldi wasn't. He's one of my favorites. But this is James Hunt. What do we know about James?
He was a dude.
He was a dude.
So this is our M26. Again, another chassis which has had a complete ground-up restoration for our 60th anniversary. Again, Cosworth DFE. And one of the interesting things about this is the monocoque is starting to be safety conscious and a huge step in stiffness on this car. And has been driven by David Lucas, who's a new driver to our IndyCar lineup.
Moving on. Now we're getting into the more carbon fiber era. This is one of our famous French drivers named Alain Prost. Piers, what do we know about this one?
So both of these cars are iterations of the MP42. And again, this is another engineering step which is fantastic to celebrate. So a composite chassis and also of a interesting era when we were using Porsche Tag Turbo engines. And these were when Formula One horsepower was kind of unregulated. In period, these would be running 4 bar of boost, would be close to 1,000 horsepower. And one of the great things we've managed to achieve is Stefan Johansson drove the car as he was involved with the team in period. Lando has driven these cars as well as Tony Kanaan this weekend.
Now this is the 84, which Niki Lauda won by half a point. And then Alain went on to our next car to win a championship. And this is the 2B.
2B. So there was an iteration on aerodynamics and on mechanical suspension for the step into this car. One of the things from an engineering perspective is these are, like all of our cars, very valuable assets to us. And we run these cars on new electronics to make sure we understand what they are doing. It's important that you can see in the data that these cars are all good because the engines are kind of irreplaceable.
Moving on to now my favorite driver. And I don't know if this is my favorite car or the MP44 just because of how dominant it was. This was a world championship car from Ayrton Senna. Piers, what do we know about this one?
So MP46, again, you can see the aerodynamic evolution making significant steps. The amount of aerodynamic devices and evolution of front and back. Again, steps on safety on the monocoque with regulations coming in about side penetration and various other aspects. But one of the fantastic things which everyone would have seen and heard on track is the Honda V12 engine. This car has been driven by multiple people over the weekend, but probably the best story was Tony Kanaan, who was watching over the fence at the go-kart track in Interlagos when Ayrton won there in this car. Fantastic story to recreate the connection there with this car on track this weekend.
Now we move on to my second favorite driver, but he prefers, I say, my favorite living driver, and that is Mika Hakkinen. He's also a dude. He's awesome. 98 championship? Yeah, 98 championship. What do we know about this?
So this is an MP414, and we have bought it obviously because of its provenance, but also it was the start of one of our periods of collaboration with Mercedes, and it's fantastic to have them here with us this weekend. This was a very, very dominant chassis. Again, huge step in aerodynamic and safety on this car. The high-side tub, and of course the V10 Mercedes engine, which everyone has enjoyed hearing run this weekend. In terms of drivers that have been out on track, both Tanner and Tony Kanaan have driven this car this weekend. It's just fantastic to see it out.
So we got one other car to look at, but while we're walking over to that, I got a little bit of Piers trivia. So I had dinner Monday night with Nigel Mansell, definitely one of my heroes, awesome guy. And Piers' father, Sheridan, was extremely responsible for Nigel Mansell's career. That is straight out of Nigel Mansell's mouth, whether it was at Williams or went over to IndyCar, back to Williams. I thought that was really cool to hear stories about your pops.
Yeah.
Now, our final car, last championship, which has been way too long, is our Lewis Hamilton 2008 car. What do we know about this beast?
So this is the MP423, 23A, and this is in the configuration that famous last 2 laps of evolution that led to Lewis's first championship win. We bought it obviously because it's our last championship win, but again, V8 engine and very, very free aerodynamic regulations at this time. And actually, this car has a bit of my heart in it, because this is the year that I started with McLaren a little over 15 years ago, involved in the transmission manufacturing. Fantastic car, been driven by multiple drivers this weekend. Our heritage driver, Ron Garofeld, has been out in it, and amongst others, but it's fantastic to not only share all of the cars here, but also share the whole McLaren 60 story with all the great fans as well.
We got lots of great fans here. Yeah! So, this is amazing cars for you, the fans. Let's see, we have any drivers around here? Let's see. We've got one guy that everyone wants to see. Some Mr. Norris. 2 races to go. Let's see what his favorite car is. Piers, can you grab Lando? Lando! So Piers has just done a tour of the cars.
I was just watching.
You were watching? Was it great?
It was very good.
Oh, really good.
Much better than I could do.
Piers is a star. Everything ran perfectly this week, which is not easy because these things not always reliable in period. Like we drove a few of them. Which was your favorite?
Which one was my favorite? I think this is probably the one I was in today, the center one. But both they're so different. Like you can't even call them a comparison to what we drive now. Especially with the H pattern. Like, I mean, I feel like I barely fit in the car. I'm not even that big. So yeah, the sounds and everything, the feeling is extremely different, but just a lot of fun, and especially when you know the history of it, is what makes it so special.
Cool. Well, that is a wrap here from Velocity. Piers, thank you for putting all these awesome cars on the track, and all you guys driving them. Thank you for supporting us. We'll see you in Las Vegas.